Jaroslaw Strozyk is a former director for the Polish military intelligence and joins us now from Wrocław. Welcome to the programme. What do you think happened to Prigozhin?
There are a couple dimensions of this situation. Of course, one is that we are discussing like mafia-like killings between the members of the mafia, and there is no forgiveness, that it was already stated. That's simply that. I feel sometimes like you mentioned so many times, like Mr. Prigozhin was involved in many in operations, very important operations from Russia point of view. Let's not forget his involvement or his money involvement in US elections in 2016. And he was simply a con man of President Putin. And now there was a decision, don't want to use the movie style words, but on the substance, that was really an internal message for the still some oligarchs, some internal people, that Mr. Putin is killing his opponents, or he is killed, I would say.
Okay. Jaroslav, why did Putin then hesitate? Because it's been 2 months exactly to the day from the 23rd of June when he led that mutiny.
Those 2 months, it's a perfect time. As I said, he doesn't forgive, and we know the cases of Mr. Litvinenko and Skripal after a couple years, or even 10 years after they defected. So 2 months, that's a pretty short time, I would say, for this kind of action. Of course, we cannot exclude any accident, but very rarely there are accidents like that in Russia, killing those people. And let's not forget about those suicides of some bankers, some management people in the past, in last 18 months.
And we haven't heard from the Kremlin. Do you think we will?
I believe so, but it will be a short statement and some merits perhaps of Mr. Prigozhin, which are the real one for Russia. So, but there will be always this kind of mystery: was he on board or he wasn't? So,
what do you think, as director for the former director for the Polish military intelligence? Do you think he was on board? There's so much that we have to question.
Of course, I don't have any credible information, and but if I would say, if I would have to say something, I would say he was on board, and not only himself, but especially Mr. Utkin was also the person who was the target of that attack.
And that is the co-founder, am I correct, of the Wagner Group? Okay, so
yes, and he was really in touch with the members of Wagner Group.
Okay, so both are no longer around. What happens to the Wagner Group in Ukraine and also in Africa? Because the Wagner Group has been quite lucrative, hasn't it, for Russia?
If something is lucrative in Russia, it will exist, and it will be some smaller groups. I don't know, maybe they will call them Mozart Group or Chopin Group, but they will exist, and they will be operating in some areas, of course, Africa, Belarus, perhaps some other areas, if this is an interest of Russia.
And just very quickly before I let you go, what does all of this do now to President Putin's credibility?
His credibility is at stake, and he has some internal problems. He knows that very well. So as I said at the beginning, this is a very strong message for his opponents, or might be opponents, or future opponents. Don't mess with him. I'm still in power.
Jaroslaw Strozyk, thank you so much. Always a pleasure to speak to you on TRT World. I appreciate it.